Okay, let's get started, and we are going to solve this test all together, all 4 sections, one by one. I will read the questions, play the audio, and then you will get a chance to find the answer, and then you will tell me the answer, and after that we will see what the right answer is. So we are going to start with part 1. Complete the notes below, write one word and or a number. In part 1, mostly they give you one word and or a number, and in part 4, they commonly give you one word only or one word and or a number. Now you can see, okay, the title is Hinching Brook Country Park. Now Hinching Brook is unusual name, we don't know about that. Country Park. Country park means a country style park, like we say golf and country club. So this is country club, they have a country park. First of all, question number 1 is about the park, and they mentioned area and dash hectares. Dash hectares means area, total area of the park, and our answer is going to be a number, and it's going to come with hectares. Hectares is a way to measure land. Okay, now please listen and answer.
You will hear a teaching assistant calling a country park about a school visit.
2 of our classes.
OK. What would you like to know?
Well, I'm new to this area, so perhaps you could tell me something about the park first, please.
Of course. Altogether, the park covers 170 acres. That's 69 hectares.
Okay, altogether park covers acres. First she mentioned acres. That was a trap for those who do not understand. And then she said that means 69 hectares. So correct answer is 69. You will not write hectares because it's already written there. Let's go on. Habitats. They mentioned wetland, grassland, and woodland. These are type of lands. Wetland is like wet land, and grassland, there's a lot of grass, and woodland, forest land. Like we have Changamanga, we call it woodland. After this, we've got questions in the next part. Wetland, lakes, ponds, and a dash. So they mentioned here, they have wetland. Now what is the type of wetland? Wetland is the area which is wet. Number 1, it's a lake. Number 2, it's a pond. And third one is going to be another type of wetland. It can be like river, canal, or anything like that. So answer is going to be a water body.
There are 3 main types of habitat: wetland, grassland and woodland. The woods are well established and varied, with an oak plantation and other areas of mixed species.
Right.
The wetland is quite varied too. The original farmland was dug up around 40 years ago to extract gravel. Once this work was completed, the gravel pits filled with water, forming the 2 large lakes. There are also several smaller ones, ponds, and a stream that flows through the park.
Okay.
All right. So she talked about lake, and she told us how the lake was made and all that. Then she talked about pond. So, I mean, you should know when the answer is about to come. And right after pond, she used the word stream. So correct answer is stream. Well done. Okay, next they will talk about some of the wildlife, and then this is subjects studied in educational visits include. Now, what is it that the subjects studied in educational institutes include? Science. Children look at dash about plants. Now, subject is science, and children look at something. I mean, in the subject science, children look at something which is related to plants. For example, children look at pictures about plants. Children look at diagrams about plants. So something like that. Now for look at, they may use any other word. Children inspect, children see, or children analyze, or anything like that.
A lot of different species of birds and insects, and also animals like deer and rabbits.
And I understand you organise educational visits for school parties.
That's right. We can organise a wide range of activities and adapt them to suit all ages.
Can you give me some examples of the activities?
Well, one focus is on science, where we help children to discover and study plants, trees and insects. They also collect and analyse data about the things they see.
Okay, they also collect and analyze data about the things they see. So look at and collect and analyze. What is the answer? Answer is data. Okay, they also collect and analyze data of the things that they see. So data will be the right answer. Question number 4, geography is the subject, includes learning to use a dash and compass. Two things. They will teach you how to use a compass, and before compass, whatever they say, that will be your answer. Okay? So please listen and answer.
Another focus is on geography. The park is a great environment to learn and practice reading a map and using a compass to navigate around the park.
Okay, using a map and compass. So map will be the right answer. For use, they use the word reading a map. Reading a map means using a map, and then they talked about this compass. Okay, let's go on. We've got question number 5. Leisure and tourism. Mostly concentrates. Concentrates means focuses. Concentrates on the parks dash. Now leisure and tourism is the topic, and they mostly concentrate on something of the park, right? So let's see, what do they focus on? For concentrates, they may use the word focus.
Do you do anything connected with history?
Yes, we do. For instance, the children can explore how the use of the land has changed over time. Then there's leisure and tourism.
That focuses on your visitors, I would imagine.
Yes, mostly. The children find out about them, their requirements,
Okay, that focuses on your visitors. Now see, if you are park representative and I say that focuses on your visitors. Your visitors means parks visitors. So correct answer is visitors, plural. You will write plural on, okay? All right, next we have music. The next subject is music. Children make dash with natural materials. Now children make something. For make, they commonly use the word create. Children create, children make something, and they use natural material for that. And remember, the subject is music.
And another subject we cover is music. Here the children experiment with natural materials to create sounds and explore rhythm and tempo.
Okay, children experiment with natural material to create sounds. So correct answer is sounds. Okay, next we've got benefit of outdoor educational visits. They give, what do they mean by they? Outdoor visits. So they give, outdoor visits give children a feeling of dash. In IELTS, for feeling of, they commonly use the word sense of. Feeling of, sense of, emotion of, or anything. So feeling of dash that they may not have elsewhere.
And of course, all the activities are educational too. Learning outside the classroom encourages children to be creative and to explore and discover for themselves.
I would imagine they get a sense of freedom that might not be a normal part of their lives.
That's right.
Okay, they get a sense of freedom. Well done. Correct answer is freedom. So you need to understand what can be the synonym. Feeling of, and for that they use the word sense of. Sense of freedom. And these synonyms will come again in other tests as well. Next we have children learn new dash and gain self-confidence. Now focus the word learn and new. For learn they can use the word develop. Children develop new or something more for new. Now let's see what is it that they learn new, and self-confidence is already written. It will not be the answer, okay? Let's see.
And very often the children discover that they can do things they didn't know they could do. and they develop new skills. This gives them greater self-confidence.
It sounds great.
Okay, they develop new skills. Well done. Answer is skills. Okay, practical issues. Now, what are the practical issues? Cost per child, and pound sign is already there. So you will not write currency, you will just write the amount. Now remember, if they have pounds and pennies, for example, if the price is 10 pounds and 50 pennies, they will simply say it will cost you 10 pounds 50. 10 pounds 50 means 10.50. If they say the price is $5.75, $5.75 means 5.75. So currency comes in the middle. If there is an amount after that, that is cents or pennies. Okay, now let's see what is the price here. Pound sign is already there.
So, what about the practical side of it? How much does it cost for a full-day visit? We would expect to bring between 30 and 40 children.
If there are over 30, it costs £4.95 for each child who attends on the day. We invoice you afterwards, so you don't pay for children who can't come because of sickness, for example.
Okay, so it will cost you £4.95. That is 4.95. Okay, good job. Next, adults such as dash are free. For example, adults such as teachers. Or for example, they say adults, for example, teachers are free. Or adults like teachers will not be charged. Will not be charged means they are free. So, let's see.
There's no charge for leaders and other adults, as many as you want to bring.
That sounds
Okay.
very fair.
There is no charge for leaders, right? So correct answer is leaders. And for free, they use the word no charge. Okay? So like this, you need to understand the synonyms and you can easily find your answers. Okay, now we have IELTS listening part 2. And part 2 is the part where there is one person who will be talking. You have to listen and answer the questions, okay? In part 2, 3 to 4 type of questions are important. Number 1, multiple choice, single or double. Number 2, matching. And number 3, map. Now over here we have multiple choice and a map, right? Okay, now in multiple choice questions, the most important thing is you should know how to eliminate 2 wrong options. In multiple choice questions, they check your ability to differentiate between the right and wrong. For example, there are 3 options. They will discuss all 3 options, but they will deny or discuss negatively 2 options, and you have to eliminate them. And one option which is left will be the right answer. Okay, so in multiple choice, you need to see elimination is very, very important. Elimination of wrong answers about which they speak. And you need to just see, no, this is not my right answer. Now, I tell you how to understand, how to identify the wrong answers and how to reach the right one. First, we have stenthrope. Now, we don't know the meaning of stenthrope and we don't need to. Then they say twinning association. Now, it's a kind of association and the name of that is stenthrope twinning association. And even if you cannot read these words, don't read. Don't worry about it. I don't know the meaning of twinning and all that. You just understand the word association. That's it. Association means a society where people work together. Question number 11. During the visit to Malati in France. Now, Malati in France means it's a village or city or town in France. Members especially enjoyed. Now, we are talking about association. Underline the word members especially enjoyed. Now listen, members especially enjoyed means something they enjoyed more than other activities. So out of 3, they would say we enjoyed that, but actually we had great fun while doing this. So where they had great fun, that will be the right answer. What are the options? Option A, theme park. If they especially enjoyed theme park, It'll be the answer. And if you say, we went to theme park and we had a good time there, but we especially liked the river trip. That is option B, river trip. And option C, cheese factory. Have you noticed I'm not reading all the option? I'm only focusing theme park, river trip, cheese factory. Now out of 3, 2 they would say we enjoyed, but 1 they would say especially or something more than that. They will use emphatic language for that. Now please listen and answer.
Part 2. You will hear the chairman of Stanthorpe Twinning Association, which organises the link between Stanthorpe in England and a town in France, talking to members about the year's events.
It's great to see so many members of the Twinning Association here tonight. Since the twinning link between our 2 towns, Stanthorpe here in England and Malat in France, was established, the relationship between the towns has gone from strength to strength. Last month, 25 members of the association from Stanthorpe spent a weekend in Malat. Our hosts had arranged a great programme. We learned how cheese is produced in the region and had the chance to taste the products. The theme park trip had to be cancelled, but we all had a great time on the final boat trip down the river. That was the real highlight.
That was the real highlight. Okay, so what's the right answer? Got the point? See that this theme park was cancelled and cheese they just enjoyed, but the real highlight means especially enjoyed. So correct answer is B. And have you noticed they discussed all 3 options? This is what they check whether you understand English, or you will say cheese, cheese. Very good. Okay? Yeah. Question number 12. What will happen in Stanthorpe to mark 25th anniversary of the Twinning Association? Now, Twinning Association has 25th anniversary, like they have 25th birthday. So, in order to celebrate the birthday, what will they do? Option A, tree planted. So, if they plant a tree to celebrate the birthday, answer is A. Option B, garden seed will be bought. They will buy a seat for the garden. You know, people go and sit, so they will buy or they will donate a seat to the garden to mark their 25th anniversary. And option C, footbridge will be built. Footbridge is where you cross the bridge on foot. One is pedestrian. We actually call it pedestrian bridge as well, where people can just walk it. So if they're going to make a pedestrian bridge or footbridge, then right answer will be C. Now let's see how will they celebrate their 25th anniversary. Out of 3, 1 or 2 they will say we had to cancel it. First we wanted to do this, but we did not get permission. And finally what they are going to do will be your answer. Okay, please listen.
This is a special year for the association because it's 25 years since we were founded. In Malat, they're planning to mark this by building a footbridge in the municipal park. We've been discussing what to do here, and we've decided to plant a poplar tree in the museum gardens. We considered buying a garden seat to put there, but the authorities weren't happy with that idea.
So, now you have to see what are they doing here, right? They said footbridge they're going to make there. In France, in Malati, they are going to make footbridge there. So here we wanted to buy a garden seat, but authorities were not happy with that. So the right answer is A. Tree will be planted. And they said popular tree. Okay, please focus again.
This is a special year for the association because it's 25 years since we were founded. In Malat, they're planning to mark this by building a footbridge in
in Malat, right? Not here. They are planning to build a footbridge, so footbridge is not the answer.
Municipal park. We've been discussing what to do here, and we've decided to plant a poplar tree in
Okay, we've decided means final answer. We've decided to plant a popular tree. That is option A.
Museum gardens. We considered buying a garden seat to put there, but the authorities weren't happy with that idea.
Okay, with the garden seat, authorities weren't happy with that idea. All right, question number 13. Which event raised most funds this year? Now, if they talk about last year, that will not be your answer. If they talk about next year, that will not be your answer. Your answer is this year and the event that raised most fund. Most fund means collected a lot of money. Option A, film show. Option B, pancake evening. Like they had an evening and they enjoyed pancakes. And option C, cookery demonstration. Now there are three events, and this year one of these actually raised most funds. Or for that they can use the word record profits. We got record, for example, if they say we got record profits from the film show this year, answer is A. Okay, just listen and answer.
In terms of fundraising to support our activities, we've done very well. Our pancake evening was well attended and made record profits. And everyone enjoyed the demonstration of French cookery, which was nearly as successful. Numbers for our film show were limited because of the venue, so we're looking for somewhere bigger next year.
Okay, film show numbers were limited and cookery demonstration almost as successful, but they got record profits from pancake evenings. So correct answer is option B. You will only write the options A, B, C. Next, question number 14. For the first evening with the French visitors, host families are advised. Underline first evening, French visitors, host families are advised. Now, visitors are coming from France to visit their club and all that. So for the first evening, they advise the host family. Host family means French people will come to live with English people in their house. So they're giving them some piece of advice. Option A, take them for a walk round the town. Underline walk round the town. Walk round the town means take them out and show them the town and all that. Option B, go to local restaurant. And option C, have a meal at home. For meal, they may use the word dinner or lunch or any other meal. Now, out of three things, one thing they advise to do for the first evening. First evening means when the guests come to your house. So they may say first evening, they may be tired. So don't take them for a walk. Option A will not be the answer. And if they say first evening is very important, show them the town, especially in the evening, the bright lights of the town. So you may take them out. So whatever they advise will be the answer.
We're looking forward to welcoming our French visitors here next week, and I know that many of you here will be hosting individuals or families. The coach from France will arrive at 5 p.m. on Friday. Don't try to do too much that first evening, as they'll be tired. So have dinner in the house or garden rather than eating out. The weather looks as if it'll be okay, so you might like to plan a barbecue. Then the next morning's market day in town, and that's always a good place to stroll round.
So correct answer is C. They will be tired. Don't do too much. So have a meal at home. For at home, they use the word house or garden. Now, garden is actually the lawn, part of house or garden. And for restaurant, he did not say anything. He said you can arrange a barbecue later. And for walk around, he said the next day you can take them for a walk. So correct answer is C. On Saturday evening, there will be the chance to do what? Saturday evening and chance to do something. Option A, concert. Option B, match. Option C, competition. Now, what kind of chance is there? If there is a chance to listen to a concert, A will be the answer. If there is a chance to watch a match, for match, they may use the word football match or cricket match, it's B. And if they say you can participate in a competition, or if they say we have a race and you can participate in that, then it will be option C. So, let's see.
On Saturday evening, we'll all meet up at the football club, where once again we'll have Toby Sharp and his band performing English and Scottish country songs. Toby will already be well known to many of you, as last year he organised our special quiz night and presented the prizes.
So, they will take you to the stadium, but in the stadium they don't have a match. What do they have? They have a concert. And they talked about Toby, and you know already about him. He will be singing songs and all that. So correct answer is option A, listen to a concert. Okay? Now we go on and we have this map and we see how to deal with the map. Questions 16 to 20, Farley House. The name of the house is Farley House, and you can see north, west, east, south is given on the top right hand corner of the map. So if you want, you can write on the left side W, W for west. On top you can write N, N for north. At the bottom you can write S for south. On the right side of the map you can write E for east. After that you need to see what is given. When they give you half minute to read the questions, do not read questions, read the map. Can you see the car park? Yes. And after that, old stables, right? So anything next to old stables, answer will be option G. And you know, entry is from the car park, right? Then, can you see the house, lake, and there is that bend and option B. So if they use the word bend, and option B will be the right answer. And then there is a path leading to some place and it ends there. It does not go anywhere towards the north side. And you can see there are two lakes. So it can be confusing. They will use the word bigger lake and smaller lake. Right? And then can you see the row of trees with option F? So this is forested area or anything like that. Okay, now let's get started. Question number 16 is farm shop. Let's see where it is. So you will just go through all these things.
Now, on Sunday, we'll be taking our visitors to Farley House. You may not all be familiar with it, so here's a map to help you. You can see the car park at the bottom of the map. There's an excellent farm shop in the grounds where our visitors can buy local produce. It's in the old stables, which is the first building you come to. They're built round a courtyard.
It is in the old stables, the first building you come to. So option G will be the right answer. They said it is in the old stables. Listen again.
The car park at the bottom of the map. There's an excellent farm shop in the grounds where our visitors can buy local produce. It's in the old stables, which is the first building you come to.
Okay, it is in the old stables, which is the first building you come to. So old stables is option G. So correct answer for 16 is G. Now we have question number 17, disabled entry.
I know that one or two of our visitors may not be all that mobile. The main entrance to the house has a lot of steps, so you might want to use the disabled entry. This is on the far side of the house from the car park.
This is on the far side of the house from the car park. Now look at car park and far side is opposite side. Now from car side, opposite side, and you can see one entry there. Which option? C. And you should remember the word far side. Far side means opposite side. It's the far side of the car park. Car park is here, so the opposite side of the car park is far side of the car park. F-A-R, far, S-I-D-E, side. Okay? Please listen to this again.
I know that once to the house has a lot of steps, so you might want to use the disabled entry. This is on the far side of the house from the car park.
Okay, this is the far side of the house from the car park. C will be the right answer. Question number 18, adventure playground. Let's see where that is.
Children will probably be most interested in the adventure playground. That's at the northern end of the larger lake, in a bend on the path that leads to the lake. There's
Okay.
lots for children to do there.
All right. So they said northern end of the larger lake, and then they use the word bend. So there is only one option, that is option B. Correct answer is B. Next, they have kitchen gardens.
There are a number of lovely gardens near the house. The kitchen gardens are rectangular and surrounded by a wall. They're to the northeast of the house, quite near the smaller lake. They're still in
Okay.
use and have a...
All right, they are rectangular. The first thing is rectangular. Then they are near the smaller lake. So smaller lake, rectangular, that is option D. Simple and easy. Next we have Temple of Four Winds.
The Temple of the Four Winds is a bit more of a walk, but it's worth it. Take the path from the car park and go past the western sides of the stables and the house. Then, when the path forks, take the right-hand path. Go up there with the woods on your left, and the temple is right at the end.
They use the word when the path forks. You can use this word when the road forks. Road forks mean one road goes there, one road goes there. And he said take the right one, and it reaches there. So correct answer is option A. All right, so that's it. That's all about the map. We go on. Now we have IELTS listening part 3, and the content in part 3 is always educational. Part 1 and 2, they are social, but part 3 is educational. 3 type of questions are important: multiple choice single, multiple choice double, and matching type of questions. So over here, we have double multiple choice and then all matching type of questions. So in double multiple choice questions, out of 5 options, you have to select 2 options. Let's see which 2 options. So we've got part 3. Which 2 things did Colin find most satisfying about his bread reuse project? Underline the word bread reuse project. This is the name of the project. Bread reuse project. Okay, then underline 2 things Colin find most satisfying. Now there are 5 things, 3 things can be satisfying, but 2 things are most satisfying. So most satisfying things will be your answer. Option A, support from local restaurants or support from restaurants. Like the restaurant people, they support them. And you know, bread reuse project is same. Like there is a bread and they reuse it to make something else. Option B, finding a good way to prevent waste. So, good way to prevent waste. Prevent waste means to stop wasting the bread. Option C, overcoming problems in basic process. So, overcoming problems, basic process. Option D, experimenting with designs and colors. Underline designs and colors. And option E, learning how to apply 3D printing. So 3D printing. Now out of 5, 2 things are most satisfying for him, and we will see what are those 2 things. And in order to look for 2 things, you need to eliminate 3 things also, which are least satisfying or not satisfying for him. Let's see.
Part 3. You will hear 2 food science students called Marie and Colin discussing their final year projects.
I haven't seen you for a bit, Marie.
No, I've been busy with my project.
You're making a vegan alternative to eggs, aren't you? Something that doesn't use animal products.
Yes, I'm using chickpeas. I had 2 main aims when I first started looking for an alternative to eggs. But actually, I found chickpeas have got more advantages.
Right.
But how about your project on reusing waste food? You were looking at bread, weren't you?
Yes, it's been hard work, but I've enjoyed it. The basic process was quite straightforward, breaking the stale bread down to a paste, then reforming it.
But you were using 3D printing, weren't you? to make the paste into biscuits.
Yeah, I'd used that before, but in this project I had time to play around with different patterns for the biscuits and finding how I could add fruit and vegetables to make them a more appetizing colour. And I was really pleased with what I managed to produce.
It must have been a great feeling to make something appetizing out of bits of old bread that would have been thrown away otherwise.
It was. And I'm hoping that some of the restaurants in town will be interested in the biscuits. I'm going to send them some samples.
A and D, he said, I'm going to send some samples to the restaurants. He has not received the support. He's going to do that. He said, I'm going to send some biscuits to the restaurants. So it's not A. A is not done yet. He's going to do it. Correct answers are option D for doctor and B for boy. Now I tell you why. D for doctor, B for boy. I play it again. I'll go option by option and I'll tell you which option is true and which option is false.
Part 3.
Chickpeas.
See that she's talking about chickpeas and all. That's not what we are concerned. We are only concerned with Colin, not the girl. So this audio continued for more than half minute. So you have to wait patiently for your answer.
I found chickpeas of waste food.
Yeah.
You were looking at bread, weren't you?
Yes, it's been hard work, but I've enjoyed it. The basic process was quite straightforward.
The basic process was quite straightforward. Which option? C. Overcoming problems in a basic process. He said basic process was quite straightforward. So when something is straightforward, there is no problem at all. So first of all, you should eliminate option C. Because he said the basic project was straightforward. When something is straightforward, it does not have any problem. Now, please come to option E.
Breaking the stale bread down to a paste, then reforming it.
But you were using 3D printing, weren't you, to make the paste into biscuits?
Yeah, I'd used that before, but in this project I had time to play around.
Okay, 3D printing, he said, yes, but I'd used that before. It means this project, he did not use 3D printing. So 3D printing is gone. But now he says in this project.
Into biscuits.
Yeah, I'd used that before, but in this project I had time to play around with different patterns for the biscuits and finding how I could add fruit and vegetables to make them a more appetizing colour.
Color. So he used the word patterns and colors. Now how do we understand that this is most satisfying? Now listen.
And I was really pleased with.
I was really pleased. I was really pleased means most satisfying. So first correct answer is option D. Now please come to option B for boy.
What I managed to produce.
It must have been a great feeling to make something appetizing out of bits of old bread that would have been thrown away otherwise.
Out of the bits of old bread that would have been thrown away otherwise. Now that is option B. Finding a good way to prevent waste. See that it must be a good feeling that you are making and all that. Focus again.
Really pleased with what I managed to produce.
It must have been a great feeling to make something appetizing out of bits of old bread that would have been thrown away otherwise.
It was.
It was means he agrees. So second correct answer is option B. Finding a good way to prevent waste. The girl spoke about it in a way that it must have been a great feeling and all that. Great feeling means most satisfying. And he said, yes, it was. So B is the second right answer. Now come to option A.
And I'm hoping that some of the restaurants in town will be interested in the
I'm hoping some of the restaurants will be interested. So option A, receiving support. He's not receiving support. He is hoping to receive support in the future. That is why A is the wrong answer. Now we go on. Questions 23 and 24. Choose two letters. Which two ways do the students agree? Underline the word two ways. Students agree that touch-sensitive sensors for food labels could be developed in the future? Touch sensitive sensors. Like they have sensors, the sensors will touch the food and then they will tell us about food, the quality of food and all that. So two ways students agree touch sensitive sensors for food labels could be developed in the future. Option A, use on medical products. Now the subject is touch sensitive sensors. Like for milk they use a sensor. They insert the sensor in the milk and it tells whether there is chemical in the milk or it is pure milk or water or anything like that. So that is called touch sensitive sensor. So option A, they agree that they will be used for medical products. For medical products, they may use the word medicine, tablets and all that. Next, to show that food is no longer fit to eat. So food no longer fit to eat. When food is no longer fit to eat, it means it is stale. We use the word stale. Food is stale or food is rotten, right? Option C, use with drinks as well as food. So they will use it for solid and liquids. Drinks and food means liquids and solid things. Option D, to provide applications for blind people. Like they will provide application to blind people and they can check whether something is suitable for them to eat or not. And option E, to indicate the weight of certain foods. Okay, so these touch sensors will be used to indicate the weight of certain food, like the chips are only 100 grams in the packet or anything like that. So subject is touch sensitive sensors and students agree on two things that they will be used in future. On three things they will disagree. For example, option A, medical products. One will say, I think in future touch sensitive sensors will be used in medical products. And the second one says, no, I don't think so. That technology is entirely different. I think they will mainly use them in food, something like that. So you need to check their agreement and disagreement. On 2 points, they will agree and 3 points, they will disagree. Let's check.
I came across something on the internet yesterday that might interest you. It was a company that's developed touch-sensitive sensors for food labels. It's a special sort of label on the food package. When the label's smooth, the food is fresh. And then when you can feel bumps on the label, that means the food's gone bad. It started off as a project to help visually impaired people know whether food was fit to eat or not.
Interesting. So just solid food?
No, things like milk and juice as well. But actually, I thought it might be really good for drug storage in hospitals and pharmacies.
Right. And coming back to food, maybe it'd be possible to use it for other things besides freshness, like how many kilograms a joint of meat is, for example.
Yes, there's all sorts of possibilities.
Okay, so touch sensitive sense, like we have currency notes and they have touch sensitive sensor. The other day, a representative from State Bank told me for visually impaired people, they have some marks so they can feel this is 500, this is 1000, there are some dots on it. So that is what we call touch sensitive. So if it is smooth, food is good. If it is a bit rough, it means food is not good. So they talked about that. Now, what are the right answers? A and D, E, B, C, and all that. Okay, now let's see. The first thing is you are going to focus on future. What they have already used or where they are using, that is not the answer. The answer is could be developed in future. So when you connect future, you will see many options are already wrong. Now let's just go through it together.
I came across something on the internet yesterday that might interest you. It was a company that's developed touch-sensitive sensors for food labels. It's a special sort of label on the food package. When the label's smooth, the food is fresh. And then when you can feel bumps on the label, that means the food's gone bad.
Okay, so they are using it already. That is option B. To show that food is no longer fit to eat. They are using it already. It's got nothing to do with the future. So first wrong answer is option B. Now, please come to option D for doctor.
It started off as a project to help visually impaired people.
It started off, which tense? Past tense, as a project for visually impaired people. So it means originally it started as a project. So option D is gone because that is in the past tense. Okay. Now please come to option C.
Know whether food was fit to eat or not.
Interesting. So just solid food?
No, things like milk and juice as well.
Okay, so at present again, just solid food. She said no, things like milk and all that. So option C, for use with drinks as well as foods. And again, it's got nothing to do with future. Now the key word here is future. When three options are gone, so what is left will be the right answer. Now please come to option A.
But actually, I thought it might be really good for...
I thought it might be really good. Now might be is future. I thought it might be really good.
Drug storage in hospitals and...
For drug storage in hospitals, it might be. Might be means future. So first right answer is option A. And how do they agree? Check that.
pharmacies.
Right.
Right. Okay, so right means they agree on that. Second option is option E, last one. Correct answer.
And coming back to food, maybe it'd be
Coming back to food, maybe means it has not happened. It will happen in the future. Maybe
possible to use it for other things besides freshness, like how many kilograms a joint
okay, other things like freshness, how many kilograms something weighs and all that. So that is option E. Now, how do they agree?
of meat is, for example.
Yes, there's all sorts of possibilities.
Okay, yes, there is all sorts of possibility. Possibility means that will happen in the future. So correct answers are A and E. So whenever they use could be developed and future, then you need to focus the future tense. And for that they use the word it is possible, there might be, there may be, or anything like that. Okay, now let's go on. All right, now we go on, and the rest of the questions are matching type of questions. Questions 25 to 30. What is the student's opinion about each of the following food trends? So you will match opinions with food trends. Underline opinion. You don't need to underline, by the way. Opinion and food trends are given. Now, they're going to give you half minute to read the questions. When they give you that time, it's a good idea to read opinions. And food trends are already there, but unfortunately, even food trends are longer. But they will talk about them as they are. In the audio, they will not change the wording. So let's focus opinion. Option A. This is only relevant to young people. Underline the word young people. For that, they will use the word teenagers, young people, children. So when they talk about young people, option A will be the right answer. Option B, this may have disappointing results. Underline disappointing results. Option C, this already seems to be widespread. Underline already widespread. Widespread means people are doing it already. It's everywhere. Widespread means it is everywhere. Option D, retailers should do more to encourage this. So retailers encourage this. Retailers are shopkeepers. Retailers encourage this. Option E, financial support needed. What does it mean? They need funds. So wherever they talk about money, we need more money, we need funds, we need financial help, option E will be the right answer. Option F, most people know little about it. So underline people know little. And for that, they commonly say people don't know much about that. Or people hardly know anything about it. Hardly know means know little. Option G, there should be stricter regulations. Underline stricter regulations. For regulations, they may use the word rules, regulations, law, and all that. Option H, this could be dangerous. For dangerous, they can use the word dangerous, poisonous, harmful, toxic, hazardous, or anything like that. Now we come to question 25, food trends, use of local product. Now it's a food trend that we should use local products. So what do they say? What is the opinion about that?
I was reading an article about food trends predicting how eating habits might change in the next few years.
Oh, things like more focus on local products. That seems so obvious, but the shops are still full of imported foods.
Yes, they need to be more proactive to address that.
And somehow motivate consumers to change, yes.
So, you're waiting for the answer and the audio is finished, huh? Okay, let's focus again, don't worry.
I was reading an article about food trends predicting how eating habits might change in the next few years.
Oh, things like more focus on local products.
Okay, now they come to local products. Listen, what do they say about it?
That seems so obvious, but the shops are still full of imported foods.
Yeah.
The shops are still full of imported food.
Yes, they need to be more proactive to...
They need to be more proactive. What do they mean by they? Shopkeepers. Shops are full of imported food. They need to be more proactive. Means retailers should do more to encourage this.
address that.
And somehow motivate consumers to change, yes.
Okay, so correct answer is option D. Question number 26, reduction in unnecessary packaging. Unnecessary packaging means a lot of packaging, okay? So let's see, what do they say about it?
One thing everyone's aware of is the need for a reduction in unnecessary packaging. But just about everything you buy in supermarkets is still covered in plastic. The government needs to do something about it.
Absolutely. It's got to change.
Government needs to do something. Exactly, G. When government will do something, they will have stricter regulations. So government needs to do something about it. Option G, there should be stricter regulations. Question number 27, gluten-free and lactose-free food.
One thing, do you think there'll be more interest in gluten and lactose-free food?
For people with allergies or food intolerances. I don't know. Lots of people I know have been buying that type of food for years now.
Yes, even if they haven't been diagnosed with an allergy.
That's right.
Lots of people are buying it already. That is option C. This may have, option C, this already seems to be widespread. And for widespread, they said lots of people I know they are doing it or they've been doing it already. Correct answer is C. 28. Use of branded products related to celebrity chef. Celebrity chef is like, famous chef. Someone who got famous on TV as a chef and all that. So use of branded products.
One thing I've noticed is the number of branded products related to celebrity chefs. People watch them cooking on TV and then buy things like spice mixes or frozen foods with the chef's name on. I bought something like that once, but I won't again.
Yeah, I bought a ready-made spice mix for chicken, which was supposed to be used by a chef I'd seen on television. And it didn't actually taste of anything.
It didn't taste of anything. Option B. This may have disappointing results. Didn't taste of anything. Good job. Question number 29. Development of ghost kitchens for takeaway food. Ghost kitchens, like kitchens which are not found physically, right? You think there are kitchens, but the food is coming from their home or anything. So development of ghost kitchens for takeaway food.
Did the article mention ghost kitchens used to produce takeaway food?
No, what are they?
Well, they might have the name of a restaurant, but actually they're a cooking facility just for delivery meals. The public don't ever go there. But people aren't aware of that. It's all kept very quiet.
So people don't realise the food's not actually from the restaurant?
Right.
People don't know. People don't realize. What does it mean? F. Most people know little about this. People don't know, people don't realize. F will be the right answer. Question number 30.
Did you know more and more people are using all sorts of different mushrooms now to treat different health concerns? Things like heart problems.
They might be taking a big risk there.
Yes, it's hard to know which varieties are safe to eat.
Okay, it's hard to know which variety is safe to eat and all that. That is option H. This could be dangerous. Good. Okay, now we've got IELTS listening part 4. Complete the notes below and write one word only. I told you part 4 is for one word only and part 1 is for one word and or a number. And usually students have some spelling mistakes either in part 1 or part 4. And most of these spelling mistakes are actually careless mistakes. So you need to be careful. If your spelling is wrong, your answer will be wrong. So that is why the words which are commonly used in IELTS listening, you should know the spelling of such type of words. Now the title is KG Fields. From fields you understand they are fields. Like we have wheat fields, corn fields, rice fields and all that. So the name is KG. KG fields are fields. And there is an E on accent mark on E. It means it is French language or any other language. Important. Now they mentioned what is KG Fields. Important Neolithic archaeological site in the northwest of Ireland. So KG Field is an archaeological site. Like we have Mohenjo-daro, Harappa. They are archaeological sites. So like that they have KG Fields. Discovery. In the 1930s, a local teacher realized that stones beneath the bog is liquid mud. Stones beneath the bog surface were once dash. Now the stones beneath the surface of bog, they were once what? For example, they were once houses. They were once buildings. They were once something like that. Okay? So let's see, what do they say about it?
Part 4. You will hear an archaeology student giving a presentation on an important site in Ireland called the KG Fields.
For my presentation today, I'm going to talk about the KG Fields in the northwest of Ireland, one of the largest Neolithic sites in the world. I recently visited this site and observed the work that is currently being done by a team of archaeologists there. The site was first discovered in the 1930s by a local teacher, Patrick Caulfield. He noticed that when local people were digging in the bog, they were constantly hitting against what seemed to be rows of stones. He realized that these must be walls, and that they must be thousands of years old for them to predate the bog which subsequently grew over them.
Okay, he realized these must be walls. Exactly. Bog surface were once walls. Singular or plural? Because they mentioned were. Were means answer should be plural. Just focus this last part.
Part 4. The bog. They were constantly hitting against what seemed to be rows of stones. He realized that these must be walls, and that they must be thousands of years old for them to predate the bog which subsequently grew over them.
Okay, so correct answer is walls. His dash, what do they mean by his? Their teacher. Okay, teaches someone. His daughter, husband, no, teacher is male, female, we don't know. Okay, but his is actually male. Yeah, so his wife, his son, his daughter, his grandchildren, or anyone like that, became an archaeologist and undertook an investigation of the site. Let's see who.
He wrote to the National Museum in Dublin to ask them to investigate, but no one took him seriously. It wasn't until 40 years later, when Patrick Caulfield's son, Seamus, who had become an archaeologist by then, began to explore further.
Okay, his son became an archaeologist and then he started. So correct answer is son. S-U-N. S-O-N, sun. Okay, good job. Next, a traditional method used by local people to dig for dash. Now, dig for what? Underline the word dig for. So, a traditional method used by local people to dig for. To dig for means to find. Dig, find, excavate, and all that.
He inserted iron probes into the bog to map the formation of the stones, a traditional method which local people had always used for finding fuel buried in the bog for thousands of years.
Okay, so which local people used finding fuel buried in the bog? Correct answer is fuel. Okay, let's go on. Next bullet point. Items, and what you need to do, you need to underline the word carbon and Neolithic so that you track the audio. In the audio, when they talk about carbon and Neolithic, you know the audio is there. Items are well preserved in the bog because of lack of something. Underline the word lack of. And for that, you can use the word deficiency of. Absence of, deficiency of, shortage of. Okay, so let's see, lack of what?
Carbon dating later proved that the site was over 5,000 years old and was the largest Neolithic site in Ireland. Thanks to the bog which covers the area, the remains of the settlement at KG Fields, which is over 5,000 years old, are extremely well preserved. A bog is 90% water, its soil so saturated that when the grasses and heathers that grow on its surface die, they don't fully decay but accumulate in layers. Objects remain so well preserved in these conditions because of the acidity of the peat and the deficiency of oxygen. At least 175 days of rain...
Okay, deficiency of oxygen. So correct answer is oxygen. Next, Neolithic farmers' houses were dash in shape. Very simple. Answer is going to be the shape of houses. Houses were square in shape. Houses were round in shape or anything like that. So answer is going to be a shape and had a hole in the roof.
The Neolithic farmers at KG would have enjoyed several centuries of relative peace and stability. Neolithic farmers generally lived in larger communities than their predecessors, with a number of houses built around a community building. As they lived in permanent settlements, Neolithic farmers were able to build bigger houses. These weren't round, as people often assume, but rectangular, with a small hole in the roof.
These weren't round as people had assumed. Those who don't are round. I Canada now. Okay? But they were rectangular. They weren't round, but they were rectangular. And rectangular is one word. Rect, R-E-C-T, angular. Okay, let's go on. Then they will talk about cooking and pots. When the word pots comes, you have to be careful. Pots used for storage and to make dash. Two things. They use their pots for two things. One is for storage and second to make. For to make, they can again use the word make, create, or they can use another word as it is part 4. For example, the pots served as containers for storage and they also served as dash. Pots served as dash means they use them for something else. Let's see. After storage, answer will come.
This is one of many innovations and indicates that the Neolithic farmers were the first people to cook indoors. Another new technology that Neolithic settlers brought to Ireland was pottery. Fragments of Neolithic pots have been found in KG and elsewhere in Ireland. The pots were used for many things, as well as for storing food. Pots were filled with a small amount of fat, and when this was set alight, they served as lamps.
They served as lamp. So answer is lamps. L-A-M-P-S, lamps. Okay, Question number 37. Each field at KG was large enough to support a big dash. Underline the word big. Answer will come after the synonym of big. Big dash. For big, they can use the word big, large, enormous, extended, huge, absolutely. So let's see.
It's thought that the KG fields were mainly used as paddocks for animals to graze in. Evidence from the KG fields suggests that each plot of land was of a suitable size to sustain an extended family.
To sustain an extended family. What is the answer? Family. And what is extended family? Extended family means big family. Family that includes uncles, aunts, cousins. So that is what we call extended family. One is your nuclear family. Your nuclear family is just you, your parents. If you are married, you, your spouse and your children. They are nuclear family. Then we have extended family. We call it combined family also. So they are called extended family. Okay. So correct answer is family. Immediate family, yes, you can say that. Next we have the fields were probably, question number 38. The fields were probably used to restrict the grazing of animals. No evidence of structures to house them during dash. Now listen, no evidence of structures to house. To house means to protect something or to put something indoors. For example, when it rains, there are some things outside. So you house them inside. House them inside mean you take them inside. Now, there is the word them. Please tell me, what do they mean by them? Animals, absolutely. So unless you understand them, you will not be able to find the answer. They say the fields were probably used to restrict the grazing of animals. No evidence of structures to house them. To house them means to take the animals inside during dash. Now during what? For example, during rain. For that they will say in rain. During storm, during snow, in snow. Okay? So let's see. It can be something related to weather.
They may have used a system of rotational grazing in order to prevent overgrazing and to allow for plant recovery and regrowth. This must have been a year-round activity, as no structures have been found which would have been used to shelter animals in the winter.
Okay, which were used to shelter animals in winter. Exactly. Correct answer is winter. Just focus.
They may have used a system of rotational grazing in order to prevent overgrazing and to allow for plant recovery and regrowth. This must have been a year-round activity, as no structures have been found which would have been used to shelter animals in the winter.
Okay, so let's go on. Reasons for decline in farming. Question number 39. A decline in dash quality. Decline in some quality of something. Decline in some quality, okay? And for decline, they may use the word decline, decrease, or anything like that. Now, answer is going to be a noun.
However, archaeologists believe that this way of life at KG ceased abruptly. Why was this? Well, several factors may have contributed to the changing circumstances. The soil would have become less productive and led to the abandonment of farming.
Okay, soil would have become less productive. What does it mean? Decline in soil quality. Okay, soil would have been less productive. When the soil is less productive, it means there's a decline in soil quality. So correct answer is soil. Next, increase in something. Something increased. Let's see.
The crop rotation system was partly responsible for this, as it would have been very intensive and was not sustainable. But there were also climatic pressures too. The farmers at KG would have enjoyed a relatively dry period, but this began to change, and the conditions became wetter as there was a lot more rain. It was these conditions that encouraged the bog to form over the area, which survives today.
Okay, lot more rain. Exactly. Just focus this part.
This began to change, and the conditions became wetter as there was a lot more rain.
As there were a lot more rain. Increase in rain and lot more is the synonym of that. Okay? Yeah.